Most people talk about what AI might do. We're going to build what it actually does. Here is the step-by-step process for deploying functional agents using ChatGPT 5.4. No fluff, just the implementation. If you have spent the last week trying to get a custom GPT to do more than summarize a document, you are feeling the friction of the 5.4 update. It is more powerful than previous versions, but it is also far more rigid. We are going to fix that by moving away from basic prompting and toward actual system architecture. Welcome to Dry Run, where we test AI tools so you don't waste your afternoon finding out they don't work. The honest answer is that most 2026 AI agents are failing because they are built like conversations rather than software. You give a broad instruction, the model nods its head, and then it proceeds to hallucinate your client's data because the context window got crowded. Professionals are wasting hours every week babysitting these agents. You end up doing the work twice, once to tell the AI what to do and once to fix what it broke. This is a negative return on your time. In the current landscape, an agent that is 90% accurate is actually a liability. You need 100% reliability on the logic, even if the creative output varies. Most people try to solve this by writing longer prompts. That is the wrong move. Longer prompts lead to more confusion for the 5.4 architecture. You don't need a better paragraph, you need a better framework. Let me break this down plainly. Over the next few minutes, I will show you the exact workflow to build a ChatGPT 5.4 agent that executes multi-step professional tasks without supervision. You will move from writing hopeful instructions to building a reliable system. Number 1, define the logic gate. This is the foundation of the 5.4 agent architecture. Most users treat the instructions box like a diary. Stop doing that. Instead, use a structured schema to define the objective, the constraints, and the triggers. Here's the thing most people miss. ChatGPT 5.4 prioritizes the first 200 tokens of your instructions above everything else. If you bury your main goal in the third paragraph, the agent will drift. Start with a clear if-then protocol. For example, if you are building a lead qualification agent, your first line should be, if the incoming data lacks a verified email and a budget over $5,000, categorize it as low priority and stop processing. This saves about 3 hours a week if you use it right, because it prevents the agent from wasting compute on dead ends. The takeaway is that a narrow, rigid scope is the only way to ensure a reliable outcome. Number 2, implement tool integration through API hooks. Skip the theory. Here's what actually works. In 2026, 5.4 allows for direct authentication with most enterprise software. Do not ask your agent to look at your calendar. That is too vague. Instead, map the agent's output to a specific API endpoint. Use the Actions tab to define a GET request for your availability and a POST request for the final booking. You must define the data types for every variable. If the agent expects a string and receives an integer, the whole workflow collapses. No fluff, here's exactly how to do it. Use the JSON editor to specify that the date field must follow the year-month-day format. This prevents the agent from guessing and ensures the data moves from the AI to your CRM without a single manual click. The takeaway is that specific data mapping is the difference between a chatbot and a functional employee. Number 3, build the reflection loop. This is a step that most tutorials won't tell you about, but it is the secret to high-end automation. A 5.4 agent should never produce a final output on its first pass. You need to program a secondary internal check. In your system instructions, create a reviewer persona that activates before any external action is taken. Tell the agent to compare its drafted response against your brand guidelines or a specific set of technical requirements. If the draft fails any point on the checklist, the agent must rewrite it before the user ever sees it. This adds about 4 seconds of latency to the process, but it eliminates nearly all the common errors that plague unmonitored agents. It is the digital equivalent of double-checking your work before hitting send. The takeaway is that a built-in audit loop is the only way to achieve professional-grade results without manual oversight. Number 4, establish a human-in-the-loop trigger. An agent that guesses when it is confused is a dangerous tool. You need to define the wall. This is the specific set of circumstances where the agent is forbidden from proceeding and must alert you instead. This might be when a budget exceeds a certain threshold or when a customer uses language that indicates high frustration. In the 5.4 interface, you can set these as escalation triggers. When the agent hits the wall, it pauses the automation and sends you a summary of the situation. This ensures that you are only spending your time on the 5% of tasks that actually require your expertise, while the agent handles the 95% that is routine. The takeaway is that a controlled failure is a feature of a good system, not a bug. Number 5, optimize for token efficiency. In 2026, compute costs for 5.4 are high enough that you cannot afford to have your agents rambling. Every unnecessary word in the agent's internal reasoning costs you money and slows down the execution. Use the concise reasoning toggle in the developer settings. This forces the agent to use a condensed logic chain rather than a full-sentence internal monologue. You will find that the agent actually becomes more accurate when it is forced to be brief. It reduces the noise in the context window and keeps the focus on the task at hand. This is particularly important for agents that run 24 hours a day on a side hustle or a small business workflow. The takeaway is that brevity in the backend leads to speed and profit in the front end. That's everything for today. If one of those saves you even 30 minutes this week, it was worth your time watching. To recap, define your logic gates with clear protocols, use direct API hooks with strict data types, build reflection loops for quality control, set up human-in-the-loop triggers for complex cases, and optimize your tokens for cost and speed. These 5 steps turn ChatGPT 5.4 from a toy into a production-ready tool. If this was useful, hit subscribe. We post every week, no filler. And drop a comment below. What is the first professional task you are going to hand off to a 5.4 agent this month? I read every reply.